Illegal immigrants. Deporting all of them is going to take so much money out of our economy. Yes. Therefore, we don't need to deport everyone, but we need to have a path to citizenship.
This report will be given to Congress, and Congress will decide if our border is secure or not. We're saying that Department of Homeland Security has to have specific goals per year so they can finish this border fence within a period of 5 years.
Something that I've also addressed is also increased penalties against senior Department of Homeland Security officials whose departments fail to intercept a targeted number of crossings, right? These people have a job and they need to do it,
sure.
right?
And it just basically negates all of what we've been doing. So I think it should be pretty steep.
Do want you guys to have practice in writing, bills in a real style. And you also need to discuss any other laws that might be affected or changed by the passage of this.
I would like to also see definitions of key terms. So if you're talking specifically about visas for low-skilled labor, then define exactly what you mean by low-skilled versus high-skilled.
And we will send them back to you if we feel like they're lacking context.
Fellow Senators, I'm Jeff Sessions from Alabama.
My name is Ben Suss, and I'm the senator from Nebraska.
I'm Tom Tillis, a Republican from North Carolina.
I'm Senator John Cornyn from Texas.
My name is Jim Inhofe, a Republican senator from Oklahoma.
I'm Jeff Flake from Arizona. Today we are faced with the task of resolving the many key issues regarding the topic of U.S. immigration.
Immigration has helped our country. It has built our way of life and our culture. It has strengthened our economy and given industries growth.
And currently, senators, our immigration system is failing.
Because we have illegal immigrants that are sucking up our welfare.
This is a country of immigrants. My very own parents came as immigrants fleeing from Cuba.
But that does not mean illegal immigrants get a free pass.
41% of Americans believe that for most, it is impossible to achieve the American dream.
Many illegal immigrants have found themselves at the wrong place at the wrong time, and many of them are escaping extreme persecution.
I do believe that the path to citizenship for these illegal immigrants should in fact be a rigorous one, but properly earned in the end.
Immigrants actually are a long-term investment.
Their potential to contribute to America is seemingly limitless.
And they can help aid the growth of our economy as long as the American citizens remain our first priority.
But it's also important to reduce the desire for immigrants to come to this country.
And we need to make it legal and easier for them to contribute to society.
There are 60,000 children in the U.S. fleeing conflict in Central America, witnessing gang violence and dangerous situations.
We have failed the children of undocumented immigrants who aspire to earn a higher education, much as we have failed in helping their parents secure jobs to ensure their livelihoods without exploitation and safe working conditions.
I strongly believe that we need to stop the funding of sanctuary cities.
A sanctuary city is like any other city, except illegal immigrants are not deported for reporting a crime. This is proved to lower crime rates and also gives a small transition time to illegal immigrants hoping to become legal immigrants in our country.
Securing our borders is not a matter of building a larger fence or even a wall, but of examining and reacting to the number one incentive of illegal immigrants to seek opportunity and to seek work in our country.
Illegal immigrants come here looking for jobs.
Immigration reform has been synonymous with proposals that result in lower wages, higher unemployment, and a heavier tax burden for Americans.
Right now, it takes up to 25 years to gain citizenship legally, and only 15 when being an illegal immigrant. That is not right.
We are pleased to introduce our bill titled the Border Security Act. A fence covering the entire border of the U.S. and Mexico will be finished within 5 years.
We're also increasing collaboration between the Department of Homeland Security and representatives from border states.
And why exactly is it necessary to cut welfare?
This will also be a very effective way to take this money that we are originally spending on them and put it back into border security.
Any rigorous resolution needs to have some sort of funding, otherwise it's just fantasy.
You are saying that we should prioritize a chain link fence with barbed wire on it over the citizens of our country who need our help.
I am all for border control, but a fence is simply not the way to go about it. It does nothing, it costs far too much money, and it is simply far too impractical to ever be considered a real solution.
By the chair's discretion, we are going to take a 10-minute recess.
So currently we are in our first formal debate session on our first day, and our committee is witnessing one of the major challenges of a Senate debate. And one of these challenges is that there is a lack of negotiation, and these senators are very strict on sticking to their policies and are not very much open to compromise.
All the papers that have been written so far have been either by one side or another rather than a compromise, which is what you're looking for, because neither side has quite enough votes to pass something by themselves. So I think that what we need to do is we kind of need to set aside our differences and co-author something that we can all agree on.
Yeah, we're trying to get something that we can both agree on.
None of the party agrees really so much with any of the principles outlined in the bill. We're going to try to introduce the Simon bill next, which both parties seem to agree on.
We are voting on the Simon resolution. All those in favor, please raise your placards now. All those opposed? This motion passes. Senator. Motion to suspend debate. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion clearly passes.
Thank you.
Of an amendment it will need to be introduced just the same way as the actual bill is introduced. So you motion to introduce it, and you need 1/3 of the committee to approve of the motion to introduce it.
Motion to enter debate.
That motion is in order. Senators wishing to form a part of this long speakers list, please raise your placard now. Senator McCain, Senator Flake, Senator Schumer.
We need to focus on E-Verify first and pass legislation regarding that so that we can move on and pass bills regarding sanctuary cities.
E-Verify will allow a much more civil way to employing actual citizens and encourage these illegal immigrants to find a path to citizenship so that they can work legally under the law with the conditions that they deserve.
They will employ Americans, and we have a lot of Americans out of work right now.
There's no real way that you can force businesses to file forms when the federal government has no idea whether or not a business actually is in violation of these laws. Obama's Department of Justice is unwilling to enforce this. We should do things like attach funding for the federal government to the enforcement of this law.
We are the Senate. We are Congress. We cannot be intimidated by the president. Just because you think he might not enforce it does not mean we cannot do what we believe is right.
The E-Verify collects a lot of addresses, names, work history, websites, legal statuses. It even can collect driver's records and other biometrics. So with that concern, it could be a privacy breach in some ways also.
What we need is not these complaints. We need actual possible amendments so that we can work to make this bill better.
Sure, it may not be the silver bullet that will solve this issue, but you know what? It's a start.
Does the government really have the time, bandwidth, and patience to check every neighborhood store? I think not.
If there is a reasonable doubt that a company is not following E-Verify, that they can go in and launch an inspection.
We cannot reward the people who are breaking our laws with the pathway to citizenship. These are the people that we do not want to reward. These are the people we want to punish.
These American citizens are not willing to do some of these jobs that these illegal immigrants are doing. Therefore, if we want to pass this E-Verify bill, I suggest that we table it and pass it after we pass a comprehensive plan to legalization and naturalization of these immigrants.
All those in favor of passing the E-Verify bill we've been discussing, please raise your placards now. All those opposed to this bill does pass.
Yeah, one of the core powers that Congress has, and that's the power of the purse, the power to like control what gets funded and what doesn't. So that's the one power we have left that Obama does not have the ability to sort of override.
This is just a way to check our president and executive power, no matter who that is. In this case, it happens to be financially.
Now, we could also accomplish this by impeaching him, and I think that is an equally valid approach. However, I don't think we can do that today.
Even if we pass this, wouldn't Obama probably just veto this bill since he would see it as a direct attack on him?
Why are we punishing actual American citizens that benefit from the Affordable Care Act? I don't understand how this is relevant to the issue we're discussing right now.
And the Affordable Care Act is a good thing. It's not something that Obama just decided to do on a whim. It is actually benefiting Americans.
We need to put Obama in his place, and we need to ensure that Congress has power, because that is exactly why this body was created.
We'll now vote on Senator Cruz's bill. All those voting yes, please raise your placards now. Please keep them raised high. All those opposed?
So in the rare occasion in which the Senate has a tie vote, it is the prerogative of the Vice President, and my vote is nay.
So Senator Cruz's bill fails due to the swing vote of Vice President Biden. Is that clear?
So just to kind of talk about what is in this bill.
We require 24-hour surveillance of the southern border for infrared and thermal imaging scanning systems.
We will implement an electronic exit system at all commercial points of entry and exit along the border.
But also, it's the essence of what a fence means. It's not to say, do not immigrate to the United States, we do not want you. It's to say, there are other ways to come to the United States, but by illegally crossing the border.
All those in favor of the B-Spot bill, please raise your placards now. Raise them high and commit to your decision. Okay, with a vote of 25 to 16.
Yes. Essentially, what this bill would do is it would punish sanctuary cities, which, for those of you who may not know, are cities that are harboring illegal immigrants and are not turning them over to the DHS.
It seems to me as if the Republicans are using one incident to this incident where a man shot a woman in San Francisco to push back against an entire community.
This is not an isolated incident, but rather a culture of disrespect for American laws, a culture of disrespect for Congress, and a culture of disrespect for democracy that goes from cities like San Francisco to the White House itself.
I think we have forgotten what this debate is about. This is about caring, hardworking, loving community that without which our society would not function.
A community of people who are hard workers that have been working in the shadows of our society, and they're not committing crimes because they're just trying to get by. They're trying to support their families. They don't want to be deported. They don't want to draw attention to themselves. They're not committing crimes. They're not the main reason why there's crimes in our society.
And we need to build trust between illegal immigrants and between police officers.
And there is no trust if illegal immigrants feel as if police officers are just immigration authorities in disguise.
If local governments can decide to not enforce federal law on something as simple as this, what else can they choose to not enforce federal law on?
We need to punish them for not following the laws that we make.
Under no circumstances should we decide that because of one symptom, we should simply eradicate the whole lifeblood of the city.
Some people have mentioned that these migrants are just trying to get by. Well, many criminals are just trying to get by.
Perhaps we should work on a solution together with legalization of these immigrants, so in the future we are able to create a process in which these immigrants will find a way to become legal the best way possible.
When we have a situation in which our citizens, our state governments, our local governments, even our federal government is not following federal law, is it really the fault of those organizations, or is it the federal law that has a problem? And perhaps a comprehensive immigration reform would be the only fix to that.
Okay, welcome to the final session of the Senate's Committee on Immigration Policy Reform.
Immigrants as a whole commit less violent crimes than natural-born citizens, so we can't really group all illegal immigrants into the criminal category.
As we all know, it is insane to try and deport 11 million people. I think we can more
more or less all agree on that fact. So we need to figure out what we're going to do to help the people who are here today.
Legal residents and citizens of our nation must pay for the education and imprisonment of these illegal immigrants with their well-earned tax-paying dollars.
There are 11 million illegal immigrants in our country, and 8.1 million of them are in the workforce.
If we just somehow manage to deport, imprison, legalize them right now, or replace it with American workers, the food price across the country would skyrocket.
We propose to make a blue card visa for these workers.
Or we also have to confront the fact that in reality agriculture is a really large issue in this country, and it's not something that we can ignore. So that's the main purpose of this bill.
Don't you think we should be giving these jobs to our own citizens before illegal immigrants?
The goal of this bill is really a transition time, so that we can really allow American workers bring the wages up in a way that's logical and practical, help illegal immigrants gain better working conditions, while also allowing more American citizens into the workforce.
To eventually fill those jobs.
This bill is not their escape. It is their oppression. These people will be living on wages that, quite frankly, are so below the poverty line, we can't even comprehend. These migrant workers will not have a better life here. They will simply come, work, pay their dues, and leave. It's almost a form of slavery.
As technology continues to advance, machinery will only become more prevalent in the agricultural sphere, further squeezing out the immigrants from this sphere. Thank you.
These immigrants have been working here and contributing to our economy. And you know where they send their money when they get their wages? They send them back to their families and their home countries, and they spend it there and benefit their economy.
All those voting yes, please raise your flag now. All those opposed? With a vote of 22 to 19 to 2, this resolution passes. All those voting yes in favor of Bill S.2146. Please raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed? With a vote of 22 to 19 to 2, this motion passes.
Citizenship is not a right, it is a privilege.
This privilege should be granted to the legal immigrants who work, pay taxes, and are in good standing in society, not the criminals, not the felons, not the ones who disrupt our society.
We are now in a substantive vote over the KOW Act. All those in favor, please commit to your yes vote. All those opposed? With a vote of 9 to 25 to 9, this motion fails.
The PAL Act is a bill that strives for a gradual legalization process of unauthorized immigrants residing in the United States.
This is the last vote. All those voting in favor of the PAL Act, please raise your placards down. All those opposed? With a vote of 10 to 20 to 13, this motion fails.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This past weekend, we discussed American politics.
This controversial clash between morals and logistics was a prominent aspect of many bills and resolutions that we debated in our simulation.
We've had the opportunity to examine views of different legislators and the Americans they represent. Some of us took on roles of people we admire, while others have pain to stay on policy.
Now, this presents an interesting situation because it forces you to acknowledge and to attempt to understand the opinions and the beliefs of the other side.
I call on all of us to reflect on how our experiences this weekend have expanded not only our knowledge of issues, but more generally what it means to see things from the perspectives of others.
I encourage you to read the other side's opinions, to attempt to understand both sides of the aisle.
The Democrats and Republicans had a stark contrast in values and ideals regarding a solution. We decided to take our agenda step by step instead of addressing the different components of the debate as one greater issue.
Waiting for inspiration is a fool's game, but creating your own inspiration is the power to do anything.
You have the tools and you have the know-how to be informed citizens and figure out what you need to do to make that informed decision to find your own meaningful achievement.
Seeing your enthusiasm and your rhetoric and your confidence has been very inspiring to me, in addition to especially your ability to take risks. My main piece of advice from this would be to let this experience change you. This is a pretty good example of like how zeroing in to American issues can help us better understand the way that the U.S. interacts with the rest of the world.
In the end, delegates, you are going to define who is the United States of America. It's not in your hands, but you will be part of that answer. It's not just what we do, but why we do it. When you are long gone, what will be written about what you did and about why you did it? Here, you have exemplified a senator, and you will remember how this person acted and why they did what they did. What will be written about you? And with that, I will declare this conference closed.
This debate actually went better than I expected, and usually with congressional debates we grind to a halt pretty quickly. That really didn't happen for us. There was a lot of bipartisan cooperation. I attempted over the course to inspire chaos and fighting and just general mayhem because everyone agreeing is not a fun debate. I think we never really got into a bare-knuckle fight about some of these issues, which is really what Senate debates are about, and that's unfortunate. But maybe next time.